Hello everyone and welcome to this live stream at Ignition Time. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. I'm outside, and when you're outside, things can get a little iffy in terms of the audio and the video. So please just let me know in the comment section below or on the right side if you're attending live, and let me know if you can hear me clearly, if the audio is fine. Welcome to this episode of Ignition Time, everyone. Dr. Chhoda here outside, just changing up the scenery, changing up the visual presentation a little bit. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. So just let me know, so that way I know that I'm not goofing up on the delivery here. Welcome everyone to this episode of Ignition Time. There's a lot of doom and gloom about the economy right now, and I'm here to talk to you about it. I'm here to engage with you about it because I really, folks, I really want you to be able to get through this, and I want you to know that you are not alone. So just again, let me know whether you can hear me clearly, whether the audio is okay. Hopefully the video is coming through okay as well. And I'm going to talk to you about what's going on in the economy right now and how you can prepare for it, because there's definitely a ton of doom and gloom out there. And my goal with this episode of Ignition Time, with this live stream of Ignition Time, is to help you cope with the madness that's going on in the world today. So again, just let me know. Let's see. Perfect. You guys can hear and see. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And welcome, Latasha. I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you so much, Latasha Jordan. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let's just jump right into what's going on. Let me actually show you a quick article that I'm going to highlight today. And let me actually go to that article. There it is. And as you guys can see, Americans have an uneasy feeling, and inflation seems to be a big reason why. So again, Americans have an uneasy feeling, and inflation seems to be a big reason why. Let me actually tell you what's going on, and then I will advise you how you can survive this. Now, let me be as clear as I can. The world is changing, but you don't need me to tell you that. And the thing that's making things really difficult for a lot of us is everything around us is becoming more and more expensive. You see, COVID had its own unique set of challenges. Because of COVID, we couldn't work. We were dependent on the government for the first time in our lives. Now we can work. Now we're not dependent on the government. However, we're hit with a new and unique set of problems, which is inflation. Food costs more, gas costs more, um, everything around us costs significantly more. And on top of that, I'm finding that people just don't want to work. I mean, a lot of people are not even getting back to work. We're in a very weird part of the economic recovery, where a lot of things, a lot of really strange things are happening right now. And actually, let me quote from this article. Price increases have a unique power to make people feel like life is spiraling out of control. Now, let me actually tell you what this article highlighted, and then I'll actually break this down for you and advise you on how you can potentially get through this. Okay, so let's just jump right in, everyone. What do we have going on here? The problem with inflation is that most of us are never taught about inflation, and I actually want to quickly explain to you what inflation is and how it can impact your life. Now, we fundamentally as human beings understand that if we can't afford something, or if things are getting more expensive, it affects our quality of life, which is exactly what is happening right now. The problem, though, is that for many of us living now in 2022, in the past 10 to 12 years, interest rates have been close to zero. The economy has been doing well, and we haven't really seen a recession. We haven't really seen gas prices go out of control for sustained periods of time. We haven't seen food prices, the price of milk, the price of eggs, escalate and go out of control for a sustained period of time. It's not something we've seen. And so, seeing this, especially after wanting to recover from COVID, after recovering from COVID, let me put this on because the sun is actually behind the camera, straight at me. But The problem is we haven't really seen the price of milk and eggs go up substantially, like people saw back in the 70s and back in the 80s. And so this is a big shock to the system. And so the unique thing about COVID was, COVID gave us no options. In fact, COVID made us helpless because COVID made it dangerous to interact with strangers. COVID made it dangerous to go to work, and COVID made many of us dependent on stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. And we don't want to be dependent on anyone. We're Americans. We want to be independent. But now, this new challenge is of a completely different nature. It's a completely different dynamic where it's not COVID that's impacting us anymore, but it's unbelievably high gas prices. It's unbelievably high food prices. It's inflation. It's you having money, but then your money not going as far, and that really now becomes the major crisis that we are facing right now. So what is actually going on? So I'm actually going to read from this article. By the way, this is an excellent article published by Bloomberg. I'll provide you with the link to the article in the description section below. While an intense anxiety about robust price increases, something the US has not seen in almost 4 decades, is a big part of kitchen table conversations across the country right now, it's not just inflation that's unsettling people. A jarring string of events is actually raising fears. I'm actually quoting from the article. Is raising fears that the underpinnings of modern American life are now crumbling. Is the American way of life actually crumbling? I want you guys to think about that for a second. A pandemic that shows no signs of abating. Shortages of everything from new cars to baby formula. Mass shootings and unsafe schools. Plunging financial markets. The January 6th insurrection, stoked by an ex-president who continues to question the fairness of American elections. A Supreme Court that is poised to overturn, to reverse women's reproductive rights. And a war in Ukraine that could escalate into a nuclear conflict. All this turmoil has left many Americans with a nagging unease that goes back to the malaise that gripped the country during the Jimmy Carter era, when inflation last raged. Now here's a comment from George Loewenstein, who's a professor of economics and psychology, at Carnegie Mellon University. At this point, people have been primed with stimuli practically to the breaking point. In other words, there is just so much negative news. There is so much negative news that many of us are just going crazy. And folks, I have done other videos talking about this, but I think that our emotional and our psychological well-being is more important than our financial well-being, because if we are emotionally and psychologically stable, we'll be able to make money, we'll be able to get through debt, we'll be able to overcome our financial problems. You see, folks, I have made a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money. And I can tell you that losing a lot of money sucks, it stings, but then your mental health and your peace of mind is absolutely critical. Your mental health allows you, to be a good mother, a good father, a good brother, a good sister, a good son, a good daughter, a good friend, a good uncle, a good aunt, a good mentor. So your mental health is absolutely critical. And I think that because of all the doom and the gloom, our mental health is at a breaking point. And I look at a lot of other YouTube channels out there. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there. And I can tell you that most of them, they don't even address the root cause of the problem. In fact, most YouTube channels out there, a lot of these hypey channels, they talk about the coming US recession, the collapse of the stock market, the coming housing crisis. I mean, it's just hyperbole designed to get you to click and get more views to their channel, which is really unfortunate, because what they're doing is essentially agitating people a lot more. I don't want to agitate you. I want you to know that all your fears are justified. I want you to know that a lot of what's happening around us is not your fault. And a lot of the fears that you have, a lot of the doom and gloom that you feel is actually amplified by the media. It's amplified by by other YouTube channels that that will frighten you to get views, and that will give you false hope that another stimulus check is coming. A lot of channels will try and get you all charged up against Biden or against Trump. I actually think neither of them is good for the country. I think the right solution is more of a moderate, more of a centrist who can combine the best policies of both the right and the left. But that's going to be a topic for another video. The division, politics is about divisiveness. It's about trying to agitate people, and that's what leads to more fundraising. That's why crazy people on both the right and the left tend to get the most media publicity, tend to get tend to raise the most funds, tend to raise the most campaign funds, and tend to get re-elected. We are so desensitized, we are so overstimulated that it takes psychos, unfortunately, to get our attention, and that really is a challenge. And I think that what we need to do is try and overcome those challenges by being a little bit more organized ourselves. So this is an important part of this particular article. By the way, let me go back to this article and let me actually show you the article here. Here we go. So I'm going to actually read from here. Let's read this section right here. This is very important here. Why then are consumers so rattled? I'm actually going to read this out for you, everyone, and let me know what you think. So why then are consumers so rattled? Perhaps Americans began to take price stability and the sense of well-being it engenders for granted. Did you take price stability for granted? Let me know in the comment section below. The Federal Reserve has held its federal funds rate near zero for 10 of the 13 years since the 2008 financial crisis. And inflation has been the most quiescent. In other words, inflation has been dormant. No inflation, prices didn't keep going up until the pandemic basically upended global supply chains. According to Richard Curtin, who ran the University of Michigan's influential consumer sentiment survey from 1976 until this year, the majority of today's consumers did not experience the accelerating inflation of the 1970s. And he said most have personally experienced only very few inflation, with a few short-lived spikes in oil prices. This lack of experience has magnified their reactions to the higher inflation rate that now prevails. So folks, that really is the problem that we are running into right now, which is that a majority of us have not experienced the high inflation that actually occurred. A majority of us have not experienced the high inflation that occurred in the 1970s, and that's why what is happening right now is a huge shock to the system. Now I want you to let me know in the comment section, either on the side of this video if you're watching this video live, or if you're watching this recording, let me know in the comment section below. Is this high inflation a shock to your system? Because at the end of the day, folks, if you're not mentally equipped to deal with this, then what are you going to do? It's just, again, like I mentioned earlier, this isn't your fault. Now I'll be doing more videos on our channel talking to you about how you can overcome this, but for starters, recognize that if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like you just can't take it anymore and things are completely out of control, then I want you to know that you are not alone, because there are millions of people feeling this way. There are millions of people feeling a sense of gloom and doom and feeling a sense of despair because of all the reasons I pointed out earlier in this video. And I think everything is essentially being exaggerated by the situation in Ukraine. So comment below and let me know what you think about this. I really want to know what you think, and let me know whether you agree or disagree with this, because folks, again, what is happening here is crazy, and in many ways completely out of control, because it's getting harder and harder. Okay, it's getting harder and harder to make a fair wage. It's getting harder and harder to save money. What the pandemic did was, we got some stimulus checks, we got some unemployment benefits, and to our credit, many of us did save, many of us did pay down debt. But now Unfortunately, things are getting a lot harder, things are getting a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging, and it's leading to a crisis of confidence. It's leading to a crisis of belief. It's leading to a crumbling, in the words of Bloomberg. It's leading to a crumbling of the American way of life. So let me know if you're feeling this and what your questions are. If you have any questions, please type them out into the live stream or type them out into the comment section below, and I'd love to be able to engage with you. I'd love to be able to interact with you, because I want you to know that you are not alone. I also want you to know that a significant portion of what's going on right now is not your fault, because everyone's struggling. You're not the only one. Let me know, please go ahead and comment. I'd love to hear your comments and any questions that you have. If you have any questions about personal finance, your career, your life, go ahead and type them out, and I'm here to help you. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. I'm a successful entrepreneur. I own a lot of real estate. Check out my introductory video on our channel. Go to the homepage of our channel at youtube.com/ignition time. In fact, I can actually show you the homepage of our channel. One moment. And I want you to check it out and check out my introductory video, and let me know what you think, because let me actually show you our channel right here. Give me a moment. I'm going to go back and show you our channel. That's my channel is Ignition Time right here. This is my channel, the Ignition Time channel. So definitely check out our channel. Let me know what you think, and I'd love to get your feedback. Let me know if there are any videos that you specifically want to watch. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.